Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's Racing Channel. We are here with the Ultimate Racing League and our favourite championship, the Academy AM, the Croc Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on to round 9 for our... How can you explain it? This is like the Ultimate Racing League's version of Hogwarts for pro sim racing. That's the Croc Cup. It is where we bring in those that are fresh to pro sim racing, league racing online. They may have been in the dailies for a while and they've played AI for a while, but this is their first foray into what league racing online is like. And Ultimate Racing League is the place for league racing. They run, say, 5 or 6 leagues of a Sunday evening. It is brimming full of sim racing action if it takes your fancy. But on a Monday evening, they run the Academy, which is if you're not so sure, you just want to have a little dip, a little practice, you're not too confident in your skills, that's the place to go. It is a warm, caring, safe place for racing. That is the Academy, ladies and gentlemen. We're at round 9, and these guys have been battling for 8 rounds so far, and this championship is drawing to a close. So we're going to have 2 25-minute races. No fuel, no tyre depletion. So they are out and out, lights to flag racing, pure sprint style. And they've been qualifying, and they are lined up on the grid now. They're all using the Group 4 Cayman, so that's why it's the Croc Cup, because Cayman is named after a crocodile. And on pole then, ladies and gentlemen, we have Fazzy. Fazzy leads them around Autopolis. If I didn't say where round 9 was, I thought I said Autopolis, but if not, we're at the Autopolis, and Fazzy has only gone and put it on pole. I'm so excited I could actually crush a grape. In second place, it's Ginger. And Ginger doing some very good qualifying there. We usually have to see him come from behind, but no. He has put himself there in the firing range of a win. So Ginger giving himself every opportunity here to come away with the top trophy. So Ginger then. Ooh, I'm going to give him a back a little itch, sorry. In the Rexy, doing amazing stuff. Then in third place, we have Tidders. And Tidders in a championship winning car. But I don't think Tidders is in the run for this championship. So maybe he won another championship elsewhere and is boasting here in the Academy. So Tidders in third. I love it, though. I do like the livery. It is absolutely banging. In fourth place is the Saint. Another good qualifying from the Saint there. And he'll be looking to get some leverage out of this race. Maybe a win, possibly a podium. And in fifth place, we have Fresh Meat, ladies and gentlemen. A new joiner to the group. It's Hoyland, I believe. Hoyland. And I wish him all the luck. Great qualifying position. Fifth place. Sixth is Carlsberg. The last I saw of the tables, he was leading them. And again, not great on the qualifying, but I've seen him further back. So sixth place, he's not done bad either. To say he always ends up in the top 3. So Carlsberg qualifying in sixth. In seventh, we have Frank the Drifter. He's a drifter in the races, and Frank, he's either sliding it, well, he's always sliding it sideways, but either sometimes it works for him and he's at the top end, and sometimes it doesn't and he's down at the back end. But at the moment, starting roughly middle of the deck, let's see where Frank is going to end up. In eighth place, we have Waitsy, and it's on and off with his livery. I deleted, this is the third time I've loaded it up, no livery, so I don't understand. I do not understand. Something wrong with our codes. We just don't link up. So we've got a basic livery, or the game's livery, should I say, for Waitsy in 8th place, and 9th also. A new member to the group, Ninky, but again, the livery not loading in for some bizarre reason. But Ninky starting in 9th. Then we have Steel in the Fortnite livery, starting in 10th. And Bubblegum qualifying, not going well for Bubblegum, starting in 11th place. So they are our riders, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare yourselves for 25 minutes of absolute, pure, unadulterated racing. Frank in the chat saying hello there. Frank saying during the race Ninky had a livery. Yeah, I've loaded it in a couple of times and it hasn't turned up, both of them. And Spawny saying afternoon thingy. Well, hello. Right then, without further delay, let's start it off. Fazzy then leads them through to the start line. It's a long straight after the line. Ginger could get himself a little toe there. Ginger looks a little too far back though, but he's getting straight over into Fazzy's wake to pull a toe. It's a tricky corner. They're going to be on cold tyres. They're on the racing softs. And it's all about committing to that apex. And Tidders look like that's exactly what he did as he closes in on Ginger. Fazzy gets away neatly and tidily. Well done to him. Pulling away, if anything. Ginger now has a queue behind him with the Saint joining in with that podium battle. Carlsberg being followed very closely. Carlsberg looks like he's having a bit of a moment as Hoyland tries to find a way past Hoyland. And now we've got Frank on the other side of him. It's an absolute closed case here for tight racing as Ninky and Waitsy follow him through. Hoyland then under threat from Frank. Frank's through and Carlsberg in 5th place. Carlsberg pulling away now as Frank sets chase, and Hoyland losing a couple of positions after such a good qualifying. What a shame for him. Waitsy now queuing up to get behind, and Ninky in 9th with Bubblegum getting past Steel at the beginning of this race. Fazzy still leads from Ginger, and then we have Tidders there slipping back from Ginger and the Saint. They're spacing themselves out now, getting themselves ready. It's a tricky track. Anything could happen, as we see there with Tidders stepping a wheel out, but he survives, ladies and gentlemen, just about. And the Saint sets his chase. Carlsberg then in 5th, being chased by Frank, and Frank has got Hoyland, Waitsy and Ninky all to worry about. Ninky's going for a move up the inside of Waitsy. It's not on, so Ninky just sells in behind the Porsche there as we sit alongside Ninky, and he slides it through the corner. Beautiful stuff. That's what we're here for, but he's lost a bit of time from the drift. Fazzy still leads from Ginger. We're soundboard with Ninky in 9th place. He's ahead of Bubblegum, who's got himself past Steel at the start. And it's tight racing here. Waitsy chasing down Hoyland. We got movement here. Carlsberg, no. Is it Ginger? Ginger and Tidders doing battle for that 2nd place. And Ginger nearly losing the space to Ginger. And the Saint is right in there as well. And we're sat alongside the Saint there as we chase Tidders through. And Ginger under a vast amount of pressure at the moment as they all follow him through, and Fazzy just can't shake him off. It's not that big of a distance, and it looks like Tidders there had to rearrange his steering mid-corner there, losing a little ground to Ginger, and the Saint closing ever in. It's tight, ladies and gentlemen. Pure racing here at the Academy. Carlsberg closing in on that podium battle, and Frank there getting away from Waitsy. Ninky as well getting past Hoyland, but Ninky's got it on the grass, and he's having to do a little bit of saving there, trying to save the car as Hoyland then retakes that 8th place and goes gunning for Waitsy, who now is tucked up behind, and oh no, Ninky off again. Ninky out of control, and Bubblegum is closing in. Be careful, Ninky. The Bubblegum is there to attack, and Steel there is in 11th place. Fuzzy leads with Ginger now closing back in. It looks like Ginger picking up the pace there, getting away from Tidders, who is in trouble from the Saint. The Saint closing in as they come up to the long sweeping right-hand corner. And these cars are a little bit light on the steering. They're having to fight them around here at Autopolis. They usually seem to be nice and planted, these cars, but yes, they do seem to be a bit tricky over the curbs of Autopolis in that section. Carlsberg, 5th place. Can he close in on the top 4 there? Frank is quite away from Hoyland. He seems to be safe. But then Frank will try and drift it through a corner, and Hoyland will be upon him. Ninky ahead of Watesy. Oh no! Watesy must have had a moment. He's fallen behind Bubblegum now, and Bubblegum setting chase to Ninky. We saw Ninky having a close moment, but Watesy was very close up to Hoyland, wasn't he? Fighting with that and Frank. So yeah, what a shame. Watesy dropping off somewhere around and losing some time to his competitors. Fazzy out in the lead with Ginger setting chase, but just cannot close in on the leader there. And then we've got Tidders in 3rd, but the Saint seems to be looming. He's threatening that 3rd place and fancies a podium here today. Carlsberg in 5th. Is he getting any closer to the guys ahead? Frank in 6th. And he's got Hoyland to worry about. Hoyland having a good qualifying here. And a bit of a shaky first couple of laps, but does have the pace to go on the attack for the top 5 even. Ninky in 8th, having a moment earlier on. And it seems like they've gathered themselves up, had a word, and they're cracking back on and doing some tidy corners there. Beautiful stuff around the apexes. Bubblegum finding a bit more pace in the Porsche there for Bubblegum, and giving Ninky something to think about as Ninky gets it a little wrong into the corner. A wheel just off the edge, nearly losing the rear derriere, and that's giving Bubblegum even more opportunity to close in. Fazzy is... oh, Wacy's dropped right to the back now behind Steele. Wacy is having quite a time out there in the Porsche. Fazzy getting fastest laps, collecting them one by one each lap. That makes it almost impossible for Ginger to close in. Fazzy easily in the 54s, and Ginger not out of the 55s yet. The Saint has got himself a Tidders somewhere along the line, and the Saint has got himself past the Tidders and up and into a podium position. This is racing, ladies and gentlemen. Tidders now the one to do the chasing, the one trying to find a bit of space, the one to make the overtake as he closes in, gets a good drive through that corner, sees a little fresh air on the outside of the Saint there. Is that an opportunity up the inside? He's going to have to be later on the brakes. He goes for a real late break there, and he gets on the apex and he's through, ladies and gentlemen. That is how it is done. Beautiful move by the Tidders, late on the brakes, full confidence in the car, got up the inside of the Saint, and now Tidders back into 3rd place and moving away easily from the Saint. Carlsberg not making any headway on the guys ahead of him. A 56.6 last time around for his lap time, and the Saint with a 55, and Tidders in a 55 as well. Carlsberg's got to get back in the 55s. He did a 55.3 on his first flying lap. So he's got to get, that's the realm he wants to be aiming for if he wants to take this battle to the podium. Frank even closing in now on Carlsberg. Carlsberg, beware, because the Frank is looking for an opportunity to get himself up into 5th place. Hoyland also coming in fast. Ninky in 8th place with Bubblegum chasing him down. Ninky with a 57.0. He's going to cross the line and do another 57.1. What can Bubblegum do? Is he getting any faster, closer? 57.7 again. That is consistency for you from Bubblegum. Watesy having some issues out there. He's fast, but he has random occurrences of off-roadness, and Steele there is just been taken by Watesy, I believe. Watesy then with a 2 minute as he crosses the line, his fastest lap so far, and Steele with a 2:02. Fuzzy flying away from the rest of the crowd. Ginger under threat again from Tidders. Tidders starting to close in for a second attempt on the Rexy. What can Ginger do? The Saint in 4th place, and Carlsberg doesn't seem to be able to get the speed to close in on that podium battle. It must be so frustrating for him, seeing the cars just ahead of him but not being able to close in and do battle, as we see them all there lined up from 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and the Saint needing to pick up a little pace there to close in, as Tidders really is starting to look threatening at the Ginger ahead. Ginger keeping it calm, keeping it together, not making any rash moves, not letting the pressure push him into any late breaks or something. He knows the Tidders catching up is one thing, getting by is another experience altogether, and as long as you keep the car on the apex and do your best through the corners, it's very difficult to overtake. So Ginger at the moment just staying calm. Tidders hunting him down, and the Saint as well looking for positions here. Carlsberg got it into the 55s now. Carlsberg's looking fighty. He's looking racy out there. Hoyland up to 6th. So Hoyland, 55.6 from Hoyland last time around. Carlsberg 55.8. So Hoyland has the pace to take the fight to 5th place in this race. Ninky in 7th. Ahead of Frank, unfortunately. Frank losing a lot of time that last lap around, and he's in Bubblegum sights. Bubblegum 57.0 for Bubblegum last time. He's going faster again. Frank lighting the fire that drives Bubblegum at the moment, and Bubblegum is fancying that 8th place as Frank's getting very dicey in the Cayman and getting loosey-goosey over the curbs, and Bubblegum zeroing in and checking it out. Frank pulling away a little now. Late breaking it into the corner. Ninky is in sight as well, so Bubblegum still could do something in this race yet. Still back ahead of Watesy. Watesy having a nightmare here in the first race here at Autopolis. Autopolis is a little bit like Marmite. You either love the track or you hate the track. I quite like it. I enjoy it. It's technical. It's all about slow in, fast out, and I like that. I like a nice early break. Get on that accelerator just as you're coming out of the corner. But some people like to late break into corners, and it doesn't lend itself to that. Fazzy seems like a track he is very comfortable with, driving it like a leg end. Ginger, oh no, Ginger's picked up a penalty, and Tidders, this makes him happy. Oh, Ian in the chat saying, good afternoon, sir. Well, hello to you. And Frank saying, oh God, the slide coming out of the hairpin. Tidders has got Ginger, as I was reading the chat, I'm sorry. So Tidders then gets himself, you guys would have seen it, and Ginger yet to pay the penalty. Still not paid the penalty yet, and Tidders is through. Oh, Frank. I was going to say, I have a PA. If anyone raced in the final round of the academy, could you share the replays? I can't find them. So Fazzy out there in the lead. Tidders is in 2nd place. Ginger 3rd, yet to pay the penalty. Oh, Tidders has absolutely dropped it. He dropped it coming out of the corner. Ginger's going to pay the penalty and still stay in 2nd place. Unbelievable stuff. Carlsberg's up to 4th. Who's dropped? It's the Saint. The Saints lost time as well. Unbelievable. The race is turning around in his head. Hoyland now up to 5th. Carlsberg in 4th. Remember the last time we saw the table, Carlsberg was leading it, but Ginger and the Saint were big threats, and at the moment Ginger leading the way. Well, he's behind Fazzy, but Fazzy hasn't taken part in the full championship, so isn't really in the championship battle or fight. and he's just here picking up points and wins as he goes along. Ginger, though, has got beef in the game. Tidders, unbelievable for Tidders. He'll be absolutely kicking himself. Dropping it down the hill there, easily done, but he was a dead on for second place there, with Ginger's penalty looming, already getting himself up into second. And Ginger, a lucky boy, his luck stat must be quite high. Carlsberg off the road, but everything's okay, stay calm. Hoyland, though, still shadowing him, tracking him down, and the Saint isn't out of this fight yet. He may have had a bad lap, but the pace is still good. He's still faster than Hoyland and Carlsberg, who are ahead of him. So let's not count that out yet. We're 14 minutes into a 25-minute race. We've still got 10 minutes of racing to go here. Frank seems to have got himself up ahead of the Ninky, and Bubblegum definitely closing in on Ninky. A 56.8 from Bubblegum that last time around. He really is starting to get used to the car here and the track. Ninky a 58.0, losing a lot of time to his competitors, as Frank in the 55s as well. Can he hunt down those cars ahead of him? He's a little too far back now, and the Saint is closing up to Hoyland. Hoyland really does need to get in the 55s if he wants to avoid conflict with the Saint. Carlsberg in fourth, Tidders now in third, chasing down Ginger. And Ginger having a couple of sloppy laps. We know he can do 54s, but he's done a 55 and a 56 last time around, and now it looks like a huge, it looks like he was going slow then. I saw him hit the curb, and I think it's made him lose a lot of time, and Tidders really is eager to get that second place, closing in very fast in the twisty section, and now Tidders looking to replace Ginger in second spot. Ginger then, all he can do is keep his foot planted and hope for the best. Tidders is going to be on the inside. It's a brave corner to late break into, and Tidders does get the job done onto the apex, and beautiful stuff. Ginger then down into third place, but Ginger's really on his case as Ginger got a good drive out of the corner, and now he's going to go, he's braked a little earlier than Tidders. Tidders is really pushing the boundary of the late break situation, and Tidders then, he's on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Tidders really finding his gander in second place now, but he's got a big slide coming out the hairpin, and Ginger can see an opportunity to retake that second place as Tidders is gone wild. The rear derriere of his Porsche is out of control, but he's gathered her up and he's on his way. But Tidders there for a moment, his heart must have been in his mouth as he thought he'd lost the Porsche, sliding out of the hairpin. And Tidders then, and he's done a great lap there, taking Ginger and nearly losing the car, but keeping it together, and he's in second place. But Ginger is a pro. He's a pro this season. He's done some great driving. We've seen him come from quite far back and get himself into podium positions, and I'm sure he can go forth and put the pressure on Tidders. But Tidders really is in the zone, isn't he? In those corners now. He's found his line, ladies and gentlemen. He really has. He's running away from Ginger through this section. And Tidders then, threat for next race maybe against Fazzy, because Fazzy is absolutely flying here, getting it into the 53s now as Tidders comes up. It's got to be his fastest. It's not his fastest lap, but he's in the 54s on the regular, with Ginger there losing a bit of time in the 56ers. Carlsberg under threat here. It's a double threat from the Saint, who's got himself past the Hoyland somewhere, and Carlsberg now, who looked like a shoe-in for fourth place, under threat from the Saint. Hoyland, Frank a little further back, and Bubblegum, didn't he get past Ninky? He looks like he's dropped, he's lost a bit of time on lap 8, has Bubblegum, and he's dropped back behind Ninky, who is now in the groove. Frank then in 7th place with no one to bother him. He can just concentrate on his lap times and hope some of these guys fall asunder to the Autopolis. Carlsberg really is sliding that Porsche around, and it looks like he's dragging the Saint and Hoyland with him. Hoyland his first race here on a on Thingamajig anyway, racing channel. I don't know with the URL if he's raced them elsewhere, but dragging the Porsche round the corner there. You heard her screeching for mercy as they come up to another tight hairpin. Over the curb we go, and getting a better drive than the Saint out of the corner is Hoyland at the moment. Hoyland going for the attack, side by side, and the Saint's got the inside line, and he takes the inside line, and the Saint somehow maintains, but Hoyland really is looking for an opportunity to get past the Saint here, as Carlsberg having a moment of freedom. The Saint was right on his tail, and now the Saint having to defend against, is that a Swiss flag, Swiss driver? Hoyland. Frank, can this help his cause? Can it help his cause close up as the Saint and Hoyland tangle up to each other? Carlsberg definitely pulling away from that fight. Frank saying, you were going to say drifting. Is that what I was going to say? So Carlsberg, the Saint, and Hoyland all chasing each other. Frank, oh yeah, concentrate on your drifting, not your times. That's what I was going to say. So Frank, is that what you're going to start doing? No, look, nice and tidy that one. Ninky ahead of Bubblegum. Ninky's just done a 55, so Ninky's found the pace here. Oh, but he's gone deep into that first corner, and Bubblegum is he's not too far away, so Ninky can't make too many mistakes like that, or Bubblegum will be looking to punish him. Waitsy starting to get a nice consistent lap time going here as well. 57.5s. And Waitsy then finding his way around the from a shaky start there since lap 6, has had a lovely clean run. Steele as well, he's got it under the 2 minutes there from Steele. Great driving, but he's had a couple of issues along the way. Fazzy has been absolutely on another level. Frank saying about my driving, you stuttered and wanted to say drifting. Yeah, probably. A bit of space for you to practice a bit of drift. What a track to do it at, though. Autopolis must be the favoured track for a bit of drifting. So Fazzy then crossing the line, 21 minutes done, 4 minutes left of racing. What's that? 2 laps left? Possibly. Oh no, says Frank. And it's been almost perfect from the Fazzy then. This race, pole to flag with no issues whatsoever. Tidders seems to have dropped Ginger now, and Ginger, no concern, his main title contenders are behind him. Carlsberg and the Saints, they're both ahead of Hoyland, and Frank then in 7th spot. No threat to Hoyland either, unless either of these guys have a bit of an off. The Saint looks like he's going to have to get defensive against Hoyland again, as Hoyland really fancies a piece. Oh, he's getting a purple. So Hoyland going in all in the last couple of laps we have on the board, ladies and gentlemen. And the Saint could be in trouble here from his 5th place. Carlsberg running away in 4th. Ginger too far behind to attack the Tidders now in 2nd, and Fazzy leading from the start, hasn't been touchable. He's been on another level. So Hoyland then coming up around the hill as we come to a heavy braking area, and the Saint then seems to be pulling away a little bit from Hoyland, but Hoyland's still doing his fastest laps so far, and losing a bit of ground to the Saint. Carlsberg safe in 4th place as the clock counts down. Ginger further back now from Tidders. Tidders, it's in Tidders' hands, it seems. 2nd place. No threat from behind. He's really, since getting past Ginger, he really has found a good lap speed out there, and Fazzy might be a force for Fazzy to be reckoned with in the next round, in the next race. We have 2 races here. So Fazzy then onto his final lap, we reckon. And Frank's saying, I've just been on the group, and that text, next race track, will be sent. Oh, bless you, thank you. Tidders in second, with Ginger there in third. Tidders, oh, I thought he had a penalty. I saw red. Must have been his section time, as this is possibly the final lap for our Pro Sim racers. Ginger doing a 53.7 there. Ginger fancies this on the final lap. Tidders could be in trouble now. Unbelievable stuff. Where did Ginger find that pace from? Unbelievable. 53.7. He's only just missed out on the fastest lap, and there still could be a tale to tell here, as Fazzy safe comes through in first place. He's not quite at the section yet, and Tidders, is he in trouble here in the final lap of the race? Tidders kicking up a bit of dust as Ginger pushing on. Carlsberg in fourth, no threat from behind for him. The Saint is ahead of Hoyland still. The Saint doing his fastest lap last time around, but Hoyland still seems like he could be a threat before they get to the flag. And it's not a done deal for the Saint here so far in fifth. Ninky in seventh ahead of the Frank. Is that correct? Has Frank now closed in on the... Ninky was behind Frank anyway. Oh, Frank, what did you do? 7 seconds. He's thrown it off this lap, ladies and gents. And Ninky has gained himself a position. Can he maintain that? Or is Frank going to try and claim it back? Bubblegum in ninth place and doing some good lap times now. 56s from Bubblegum. Oh, no. Hang on. Fazzy got through. Fazzy's going to have to do a lap of honour, ladies and gentlemen. And Tidders then is when the flag comes out. And Tidders then claims that second place. Great drive from Tidders and Ginger. Ginger in third, with Carlsberg coming home in fourth. And I tell you, the Saint was closing in on Carlsberg. If he hadn't got all caught up with Hoyland, who knows what he could have done. But Carlsberg then coming home in fourth. Good points for his championship. The Saint in fifth. Hoyland gets himself sixth, with Ninky very close now. Ninky, oh, Frank's going for a move. Frankie's going for a move, but Ninky holding up guard, defending like a lion, and it's a straight now to the flag, and no, there's nowhere to Frank to go. So Ninky finishes in seventh, Frank just losing out in eighth place. Bubblegum coming home in ninth, doing some very good, 56.1 in that final race lap. So Bubblegum's got some competitive lap times to take into the second race. And Waitsy then coming home in 10th. He's had some issues here at Autopolis, it seems. And Frank's saying, I hate turn one, and I would do it a little too quick. Turn one, yeah, you can't, it's deceiving, innit? You've got to brake early for that one. Can't late brake, or you just get caught out at the end of the corner. So Waitsy brings it home in 10th, and it doesn't look like Autopolis is the top of his list of racers that he enjoys. And Steele in 11th. Steele 58.8 that last lap around. Starting to find a bit of pace here then is Steele. Starting to get used to the track. See, again, it's not a track people go to that often to use. So, yeah, it's not one that they're always familiar with. It takes them a while to get used to it. So Steele comes over. Oh, Fazzy's already finished. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Oh, don't go back. Don't loop. So, yeah. Oh, my word. I usually like to see the winner go over the line at least. I thought he was... I didn't know Steele was behind him. For some reason, I don't know. I thought Steele was ahead of him, should I say. So, Fazzy then. Great drive there and a lap of honour. And takes the win. Beautiful stuff from Fazzy. And Steele, just a little bit behind him, comes across the line in 11th. Wowzers then. So great drive from Fazzy to take the win. Tidders in second place, fighting hard with the Ginger, who comes home in third. Carlsberg in fourth, with the Saint in fifth. Hoyland in sixth. Ninky comes home in 7th, ahead of Frank in 8th, Bubblegum in 9th, Wacy in 10th, and Steele finishing in 11th. And Spawny saying new GTO season starting Sunday thingy. And Frank saying race 2 for me was a little better. Okay, right then. Let us look into it. Race 2. My word. You are there. Oh, and don't forget, it's spoilers in the loading screen. Don't look if you don't want to know what finishes, who finishes where, because it loves to tell you the finishing order for some reason. Hopefully I'll be too quick for you to read it. There you go. Did you read it? Did you get a chance? Or was I too quick? Right then, let me go to this. Get this up so we can look at the order as they start. So another 25-minute race, ladies and gentlemen, around the tricky. I tell you what, for a bunch of people just dipping their toe into league racing, there's been some tricky tracks. They've had to cut their teeth, ladies and gentlemen, at some very tricky tracks. And Autopolis, I would say, is one of the trickier ones because they're strange cambers. Some of the corners are really strange cambers, and it's very technical indeed. So hats off to these guys for having a crack. Steele starts on pole, Wacy in 2nd, Bubblegum starts in 3rd place, with Frank starting in 4th, Ninky starts in 5th, Ninja has joined, ladies and gentlemen, and has gone in 6th for some reason. I honestly don't know. That he wasn't there in the first race. Have I got the races mixed around? I don't think so. No, because they are how they finished. So somehow Ninja has slipped in there in 6th place. Hoyland starts in 7th. The Saint starts in 8th. Carlsberg starts 9th. Ginger starts 10th. Tidders starts in 11th. And Fazzy, winner from race 1 and untouchable, virtually, starts in 12th. And this really is about Fazzy trying to get through. He was definitely the fastest in that first race. And Frank saying we can't change the camber when bopped. And Frank saying he joined late, but since he's younger, he was let into 6th. Oh, you guys are too kind. See what I told you at the beginning? A safe, warm place for pro sim racers to come. URL, the Academy. They're on Facebook. They're on Discord. I'm pretty sure they're everywhere. But you Google them. They've got their own website, Ultimate Racing League. And yeah, come and join their Monday evening racing. And they do it a little earlier for young'uns. So they start at, I don't know. I think they try and start at 7. So, yes, for the youngsters. Bless. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, 25 minutes here at Autopolis for round 9, race 2 of the Academy AMs. Steele leads them away with Wacy, who had a bit of a nightmare in that first race. Do you think he can he can knuckle down and get it done in the second race? Did he find it? And Bubblegum did start finding pace near the end of that first race. So Bubblegum, you would expect, we will have a good start. Frank as well. He was faster. He was fast enough to be top 5 in the first race. He'll be namming at the bit to try and get through, but so far Steele leads them away with Wacy in 2nd, Bubblegum there in 3rd, Frank in 4th spot there onto the curves there, and Bubblegum and Wacy start racing each other already. Bubblegum up into 2nd place and Wacy slips to 3rd as Frank tries to slide one through as well, but Frank's on the outside, tries to switch it up to the inside. Ninky is a threat in 5th place to the Frank if he cannot commit to an overtake to Wacy. Wasey. Wasey in third place, keeping his car in the middle of the track, but he's left the door open for Frank now, and Frank's having a sniff up the inside, and Frank up and through as Wasey loses a little control. His car got a squirrel on up the hill there, and Frank then up and into third place. Bubblegum on the fight for the lead, still in trouble here with Bubblegum on his tail. Frank in third, we got Wasey in fourth. Hoyland is up to fifth, he's found a way past Ninky. Tidders is Saint is in seventh place as Tidders is in eighth. They're all duking each other down here, side by side action. Tidders then in eighth ahead of Ninja, whom is ninth. Fazzy has got himself ahead of Colesberg just about, but Colesberg's coming back at him. Colesberg's coming back at him for 10th place. No, Fazzy's in 10th. They can't decide. It's side by side action as Ginger follows them through, but Ginger's been a naughty boy. He's got a half a second penalty as Fazzy has to concede to Carlsberg, and Carlsberg keeps the position. Unbelievable stuff. Bubblegum now in the lead, but he's being haunted. His dreams are being haunted by the Frank, ladies and gentlemen. Frank right on the tail gun of Bubblegum, and Hoyland up to third now. Steele slip down. Steele slip down. He's taken someone with him. No, oh no, I don't know. There was someone on the outside of Steele. Oh, it was the Saint. Oh no, the Saint. He needed the points. Unbelievable. Steele, he must be feeling absolutely devastated. It'll be an accident, whatever it was. And Frank then goes forward and into the lead of the race, and Bubblegum then in second place, and Hoyland now looking for a podium. Bubblegum, can he come back at the Frank around the outside? Bubblegum having a sniff and a whiff at that clean air around the side of Frank's car, but Frank trying to hold position in the twisty part of the track. It's a tricky one, and there with Bubblegum now under threat from Hoyland. Hoyland fancying a piece of Bubblegum, but we saw Bubblegum start to get a good pace on, and Hoyland up the inside. I don't know if there was contact, but Bubblegum slid the car, the Porsche, around, but he picked it up and kept control as Tidders slips through. No, Bubblegum holds position. No, he's gone wide now. Surely now Tidders will get up and into third place as they go side by side, and Bubblegum, a tender young age, is not threatened by the racing. Look at him getting his elbows out. He slips to fourth, and now Ninky fancies a piece of Bubblegum as he's on the descent, but Bubblegum will rise again. Frank's in trouble with Hoyland. Hoyland is up there and fighting hard, and Frank now has to defend as he likes a slidey car through the corners, and Hoyland then trying to get away past. Tidders is up to third, and we saw Tidders had good pace in free air in that last race. Near the end, he was doing some very strong lap times, and he should close up to Hoyland and Frank. Frank trying to pull away from Hoyland at the moment. Bubblegum in fourth place, staying ahead of Ninky. Carlsberg in sixth, being chased by Fazzy, the race winner of the last race. Wasey is in eighth. He's in a bit of a battle with Ninja. Ginger, as the Saints a little further back after being hit by the steel by accident, and they both ended up off the road. Ginger then chasing down Wasey. Fazzy, oh no, Ninja's lost a position. Ninja's off the road, and Ninja then coming in late, missing the first race, still getting to terms with the mad, bad Autopolis track. Ginger versus Wasey. Wasey doing a fine job here. His second race a lot better than the first one. Fazzy's through though, and chasing down the Carlsberg, who's chasing down Ninky, and Ninky not 100 miles away from Bubblegum. Tidders then, is he closing up? He's just taken the fastest lap, and is he closing up to Hoyland, whom is closing up to the Frank? The Frank leads this race, but there's a lot of threats behind him, and now Tidders is trying to attack the Frank as the Frank trying to attack the Hoyland. Hoyland goes into the lead. Tidders is up to second, and Frank left out of to dry there. On the outside there, Hoyland and Tidders finding a way up the inside. Tidders and Hoyland trying to go through this very fast corner side by side, and Hoyland there on the inside maintains the lead, but Tidders is tracking him all the way, and now Tidders is in the lead of the inside, and there's door bashing of all over the place, and Hoyland then in the lead, but he did give Tidders a bit of a bash crash in that corner, and Tidders not one to take a bashing easily. Frank there, because he can just sit on their tail and think these pair are going to take each other out. Bubblegum in 4th, Ninky in 5th, Carlsberg in 6th. This is tight racing here with Fazzy as well, all up and about their business. Ginger has got himself past the Waitsy, and Ninja back on the road ahead of the Saint, but the Saint's now got a target to hit with the Ninja just ahead, and still there in 12th. Hoyland leads this race, Tidders hunting him down. He will not take kindly to that overtake. Frank very close to the action as well now. He was leading, but he slipped down to 3rd, but now he looks like he wants to go and attack the Tidders, but the Tidders has got he's got laser focus now on that man ahead of him, Hoyland. And Hoyland doing a fine job in the lead at the moment, staying ahead of Tidders, but he's a little wide there. Tidders has closed right up now. Tidders is up and around his area, and Tidders is having a look up the inside, but there's no room, and Hoyland then just has to keep it on the apexes, keep his braking under control, and hold his ground. Tidders has been to find a way past. Frank there to pick up any pieces. Bubblegum holding pace there in 4th place ahead of Ninky, and then we have Fazzy trying to come through the traffic. We know Fazzy is a lot faster than those around him. He has found the pace here. He has unlocked the secrets of Autopolis and is absolutely making the Porsche sing a lullaby. Carlsberg in 7th place ahead of Ginger, whom is in 8th. We're at 7 minutes in this 25-minute race. Waitsy is 9th place. He's doing a lot better. His lap time's nice and consistent, and holding into 9th place. Ninja in 10th place, with the Saint closing in 11th, and we know Saint can do good pace from the first race. He was all up and about the business of the leaders. So the Saint closing in on Ninja, but unfortunately after the Ninja it's a long way to Waitsy, but the Saint is digging in and keeping it real. Frank saying, can't wait for you to change your mind at the next race. Change my mind. And Jamie Baxter saying, afternoon thingy. Well, hello. So Hoyland leads with Tidders. Tidders under threat from Frank. Frank is absolutely piling on the pressure here on the Tidders. And the Tidders, he can't concentrate. He can't get his race head on. He can't go and attack the Hoyland all the time. He's got the Frank crawling all over his rear derriere. And now the Tidders is able to pull out a bit of space now from the Frank. Fazzy is up to 4th. Ninky down to 5th. Bubblegum is in 6th. So Bubblegum's lost a couple of positions here from Ninky and the Faz. Carlsberg coming in like a wrecking ball. He's bringing the sound. Carlsberg was the championship leader. The last time I saw a table, I've got the table for the after this round. I can read out at the end, but I couldn't find one for before this one. Ginger then in 8th place. Waitsy in 9th, the Saint in 10th. The Saint lost a bit of time there. He's got himself ahead of Ninja, but lost about 10 seconds from the lap before. And Ninja then in 11th. Remember, Ninja joining late, and probably not being all up to scratch with the track. Autopolis is a beast of itself, and still there in 12th place, giving it a good go, and I appreciate that. Tidders is in the lead. He somehow closed in on the Hoyland, and oh look, okay, it is for the lead. Let's have a look. God, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Oh, when did he do it? Nearly a lap ago. Sorry, gang. So Hoyland then, was he too cautious on his braking then? Oh, he's a little wide, and Tidders then, it's like taking candy from a baby. Not quite though. Hoyland still holding on to the lead as Tidders then around the outside of the corner. Unbelievable. No way. Tidders around the outside. He has some big cojones, ladies and gentlemen. He stands up for a wee. He's a big boy. So Tidders then, unbelievable stuff. Hoyland in second place with the Frank in third. Frank crawling all over the back of Hoyland. Hoyland in trouble now. Hoyland in trouble in the midst of it all, and Tidders in the lead, fresh air ahead, and like the car says, he's going for gold. Hoyland in trouble from Frank all over. Frank's had a great race, this second race. We're only nearly 10 minutes in. There's a long way to go, still 15 minutes on the clock, and Frank still has every opportunity to go and take the lead, but the winner from the last race, Fazzy, is now in the chat. He enters the chat, ladies and gentlemen. He is now coming in to the sights of the leaders. People beware. Ninky in fifth, ahead of Bubblegum, but now Bubblegum's in trouble with Carlsberg and Ginger coming in. Ginger getting the fastest lap last time around, trying to get a move done on Carlsberg through the outside. Carlsberg, and it's worked for Ginger. Ginger's up and into seventh place ahead of the Berg of Carls. All the Carls are on a Berg. And Carlsberg then into eighth place with Ginger now in seventh. The Bubblegum is just ahead of them, holding his own, and he's done a rough lap the last time around, but he needs to get himself back into those 55s that we saw him in at the end of the first race. But Bubblegum, there is fuel depletion. I didn't realise. Sorry, gang. I said there wasn't any. So Bubblegum then is in sixth. Oh, Bubblegum goes a little wide. Goes a little wide there, and Ginger through. And up to sixth now with Carlsberg in seventh. It's a championship battle between Ginger and Carlsberg, I am sure. Bubblegum now down to eighth ahead of Wasey. And Wasey absolutely slaying in race two here at Autopolis. After that first showing in the first race, it is a win for Wasey. And the turnaround between two races has been immaculate. The Saint in 10th place. He's got the pace now. He's got himself past the Ninja, and he's got a long way before he can catch the Waitsy up, and he's only getting a couple of seconds a lap on Waitsy. With Waitsy's pace now, if Waitsy can just stay on the grey stuff and keep a nice consistent run, he should be able to keep the Saint behind. Ninja now finding it a bit of pace is the Ninja. Steele getting close as well in that pace. Tidders pulling away a 54.7 there. Oh, Frank coming in like a wrecking ball on Hoyland there. Hoyland going quite slow through the corner, it seems, and Frank just found himself a face full of Hoyland as he drove into that corner. I don't think he meant for that to happen. I just don't think he expected Hoyland to be so slow in the middle of the corner. Fazzy also finding his way through, and Hoyland, I don't know if he just he braked a little more, felt he was going out wide, but he just seemed slow on the in the middle of the corner, and Frank just come in, giving him a good door slam. Nothing too serious, nothing too dangerous. Didn't put Hoyland out into the evergreens, but still, contact was made. Frank up to second, being chased by race winner of race one. Fazzy isn't again under braking. This is how close it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's very tight, but like I said, a safe zone. Hoyland then in fourth place. I heard tyre screeching, and I think that's just Tidders just absolutely slamming. He's slamming because he knows the Fazzy is coming, and he's got to slam if he needs to stay ahead of Fazzy. Fazzy seems to be in his zone at the moment. Frank in second, Fazzy in third. Hoyland now in trouble from Ninky. Ninky finding good pace. Another turnaround from race one. Ninky on his game. He's on the A game, ladies and gentlemen, and he's coming in with some moves, some mad skills, ladies and gents. Boys and girls, aliens and lizards. Hoyland in fourth place ahead of Ninky. Ginger up to sixth now. Bubblegum in seventh. Carlsberg slipped back. Carlsberg must have had a tough lap. He was with Ginger. What is this going to be? Oh my word. Ouch. Some 4 seconds slower and giving Bubblegum the position back into seventh, and Ginger now free in sixth. This championship battle is absolutely lit, I tell you. Baxter saying, geez, I was miles behind at this point in eighth place. You're not. Are you Berg? I thought your name was different from Jamie Baxter. Waitsy in 9th, the Saint in 10th. The Saint still doing those 55s. Waitsy 57s, you see, and this is what's going to keep Waitsy ahead of the Saint. We're up to 15 minutes of this race, or coming in close to 15 minutes of this race. Still 10 more minutes to go. The Saint is flashing some purple sectors, and his intent is to close in on Waitsy, but Waitsy finding good pace. 57s, moving on up. Carlsberg dropping a lot of time there. Movement up here. Ginger. Oh no, Frank's dropped a huge amount. He was in second, but now Fazzy is clean air. And Frank dropping behind and into 6th place after his fastest lap. The last lap around, Frank's finding himself in 6th place behind Ginger, who's moved up to 5th. Ninky in 4th, and Hoyland there is in 3rd, but Hoyland in trouble from a very fast Ninky at the moment. Ninky finding very good pace. Oh, Ginger, yeah, okay, cool. Ginger's absolutely slinging. You are slinging Crocs, Caymans. Oh, Frank's back ahead of you though. Unbelievable. Take my eye off you guys for just 1 second. And what are you going to do? So yeah, Frank lost a lot of time that last lap around. Ginger going for the move again down to the first corner. It's all about who can brake late, but you can't brake late into this corner. Ginger's giving it a good go. Frank's on the outside. He's going to try and switch Aru this bad boy, but he can't. And Ginger then into the corner, 5th place, and putting some distance betwixt himself and the Frank Bubblegum. Do not count him out. He's still there. And Carlsberg at 56, but he's been a naughty boy. He's got half a second penalty. Waitsy doing great lap times. He's moving very fastly to the 56s there, and the Saint's doing 55s. And if Waitsy can get into the 56s, Saint is going to really struggle to catch him up after the Saint had a bit of misfortune early in this race with the steel and ended up off the road. He's playing catch-up ever since. Waitsy, Carlsberg's had another moment. He's dropped more time, and Waitsy is closing in. With Waitsy's newfound fresh lap times, he could be a contender here for the Berg. The Berg's also got to pay a penalty, and the Carlsberg absolutely pushing hard as nails, and it's not working out for him. Bubblegum in 7th place, the Frank in 6th. The Frank chasing down Ginger, who's in 5th. And Ginger seeing the guys he's fighting against in the championship dropping a lot of points, and Ginger slinging the Croc through that section there. Beautiful stuff. And Ninky just ahead. Hoyland not far as well. Ginger could still see a podium here as we have got plenty of time. Fazzy chasing down the Tidders, but the Tidders has gone to work. 53.9. Unbelievable lap times here from Tidders, but the problem is driving that fast. He's that on the edge that it could fall off. Oh no, Fazzy took his fastest lap, that lap around, so Tidders, it was short-lived for him. He got the fastest lap. He must have been so chuffed, and now Fazzy's intentions are clear, and he wants a second win here at Autopolis. He wants to be the king of the Polis. Hoyland holding on to 3rd place from Ninky, but Ninky is displaying some mad pace. And Hoyland, though, he's in the 55s, doing what he needs to do. Ninky all up and about his business, having a look into his boot and seeing what he's got there, if he's got a spare wrench for the car. And Hoyland a little wide there. Is that giving Ninky the opportunity to get himself up alongside? It has, but I think he's on the outside for the next corner. And Hoyland then maintains that 3rd spot, but Ninky, a huge threat to the Hoyland as Ginger closes in and Frank rises again behind them. On board with Ninky at the moment as he tries to go to battle with Hoyland, who looks to be getting a podium on his first outing here on a Monday evening with the Academy and on Thingamajig's Racing Channel. Great, I love it when they first join and they have a good race. It's like, yeah, you're hooked now. You're going to be back every week. Hoyland then 3rd at the moment, but Ninky fancies a piece of that. Ninky closing in that section, and Hoyland is in trouble from the Ninkster. Ginger just behind, looking to collect if it's going. Ginger's going on the attack, but Ninky defends well. And now Hoyland in third, Ninky in fourth, and Ginger is fifth with Frank behind. Ninky getting a bit of a tow as they come up to the first corner. He's going to try and late break him down into the apex. Ooh, sir, and Hoyland's back up the inside. Hoyland not to be messed about with, and Hoyland still in third, and Ginger now coming in for the attack. Ginger in the attack, and Ninky might lose out altogether. He tries to try and do something, and Ginger wants to take it away from him, and Frank's just behind them as well, observing. Fazzy's running away, but it's Hoyland in third as Frank now comes up and into fourth place, and Ginger and Ninky side by side, and Ninky's lost out altogether, and Frank's moved up and into fourth place. Hoyland trying to get away from this sort of action. We've only got 5 minutes of racing left to do. Fazzy still doing some very impressive lap times, but so is Tidders. Tidders maintaining that lead ahead of the Fazzy. Hoyland somehow holding on to third place from the onslaught of Ninky, then Ginger, and now Frank is going to have a little crack at the go of him. Bubblegum in seventh, staying ahead of Watesy, and Watesy is staying ahead of the Saint, but the Saint is closing in with that 2 second lap. You know, I can't think. My brain just went dead blank when I was saying. I keep thinking deficit, but it's not a deficit because he's getting it on the better. I'm thinking of the opposite of deficit, and I can't think. Carlsberg. Oh no, Carlsberg slipped right back. Unbelievable. Where did that happen? I'm not going to find it, but Watesy is in eighth, and he was chasing down Carlsberg. We saw Carlsberg had a penalty to pay, and it looks like Carlsberg's had another issue. Carlsberg was our championship leader for so long in this championship, and it looks like near the end it's nearly over for him. And Frank saying, oh hello Ginger, I mean Ginger still knows what to come. Crash and bash, says Ginger, and Frank saying no, not that, when you battle Ninky. So Carlsberg losing out somewhere. Hoyland then still ahead. Ginger's got himself ahead of the Frank. And Frank then, oh, a little rub at the back of the Ginger just to let him know he's there. And Hoyland somehow holding on to that third place. Hoyland's back his back end of his car stepping out on him a little bit. Oh, and I thought that was Ginger going up the inside. It looks like Hoyland was having a bit of a tricky moment in the Cayman. And Ginger then is up and about his business, making his business of being in third place. And there you go, Ginger snaps it up the inside, and there was nothing Hoyland could do about that. Ginger had that set up coming out the corner before, and Hoyland just had to deal with it. Now can Hoyland bring the fight back to Ginger? But now Ginger's got a bit of free air. I suspect he will try and pull away. We know he's got good pace, and he was being held up a little bit behind Hoyland. And Hoyland there again on the fight. 23 minutes are on the clock. Hoyland going for a move there on Ginger. Fancies his chances, and Hoyland up again. But Ginger's got the inside. There's a bit of a knock between the two of them. There's a bit of a knock. Hoyland's still there. Ginger. Oh no, there's big bashing. Big bashing going on. Frank's there getting a ringside seat at this car battering that we're seeing ahead of us. Hoyland and Ginger holding nothing back in their battlage, ladies and gents. I don't mind a bit of knocking as long as it's all and fair. So Tidders still leads from Fazzy, and again Ginger looking to make the attack on Hoyland, and oh, Frank's dropped it like it is hot. Ninky is through, and unbelievable stuff there from the Frankmeister. And can Bubblegum gain another position in this race? I think Frank is already on his way. He did a beautiful spin there without hitting anything. No damage to the car. Ninky then up and into fifth. Hoyland down, and he's got a penalty. Ginger's up and into third, slides it around. Fazzy is trying to close in on our leader Tidders here, but Tidders not messing about. He is on the he's on the road for the win, and he's not dropping anything but left on the table. Fazzy getting the fastest lap times, but not being able to close on the earlier work that Tidders did in this race. Ginger in third, finally getting past the Hoyland, and Hoyland having to pay a penalty with there's only 30 seconds on the clock. This race has been explicit, ladies and gentlemen. It should run a sensory warning. Overstimulation could come from watching this race here at Autopolis. Ninky has found himself with a penalty. Does that give Frank an opportunity? Can Bubblegum still get a position in this race? It is unbelievable. There's still time on the clock as Tidders comes up. No, the Tidders is going to finish the race this lap. This is it, I'm sure of it. It is now. The flag's out. The flag's out. Tidders wins. Fazzy comes in second place. Ginger, he gets that podium. Cracking stuff from the Ginge as he comes through that final chicane, and he claims the podium ahead of Hoyland, who paid his penalty and keeps fourth, ahead of Ninky in fifth. Bubblegum did get the Frank, ladies and gentlemen. Bubblegum's back in the action. Sixth place from Bubblegum. Frank getting, oh no, he's left. Oh, Frank getting seventh, sorry. Saint did catch up Wasey. He did catch up the Wasey, and he's closed it in for an 8th place finish against Wasey's 9th. And Ninja bringing it home in 10th. Still, Carlsberg is having a nightmare. Having an absolute nightmare is the Berg, it seems. And Ninja brings it home. Steele's already finished in 11th. And Ninja is quite away. Where is the Berg then? Berg having to drive past all these cars that have finished. Oh, he was in the pits, that's why he's coming out to finish the race. So Ninja then making his way around, and Ninja, this is the problem when you drop in mid-race. You need a little practice at the track. You need to get your bearings, get your feel for the race. Dropping in, you push too hard, and you can't get a good consistency because you don't know where that consistency lies without a bit of a practice. So Ninja, tough job to do, tough job to ask, but he has finished ahead of Steele and the Berg, so not all terrible, is it? So Ninja slowly making his way around. He's not slowly, but he's a little bit further back than the pack. And Ninja then closes in for 10th place. Steele already finished in 11th, and the Berg then, after being in the pits for a little bit of bodywork action, championship leader, or is he after that race? No, not many points on the board there for our boy Carlsberg as he brings it up around the final few corners. I'll try and get the table up. We'll see if we can do this with minimal stress. We might be able to. So, has he caught up with all that traffic again? So Carlsberg having to circumnavigate. Why is Ginger behind him? That's crazy. Oh, has it gone into a loop? Sorry, gang. Oh, buggering hell. I was too busy not looking. This will take but a minute, promise. He says. It must have run out of time. He was nowhere near the line. I thought I had time to look up the table. So yeah. So, what a cracking race, people. Tidders then takes the win of that second race. Fazzy hunting him down, but just couldn't quite catch him. Finishes in second. Ginger, exhilarating stuff for Ginger, Hoyland, Ninky and Frank. Finishing in third. Hoyland there in fourth, nearly getting a podium on his debut. But not quite with the Ginger around. Ninky in fifth. Great second race from Ninky as well. Bubblegum, great second race from Bubblegum. Looked a little uncertain at the beginning of the first race. Found his pace, and then he was a force to be reckoned with in the second race. Bubblegum in sixth place. Frank in seventh. Frank absolutely exhilarating racing on the edge at all times. The Saint in 8th with a slight comeback there after coming across the steel and getting himself ahead of Waitsy, who had an absolute banging second race, I'd say. Ninja in 10th had to drop in a race late and just wasn't quite on the pace. The steel giving it a good go in 11th, and Carlsberg parked it. He does not like Autopolis, it seems. So with one more round to go, ladies and gentlemen, what are the stakes, I hear you ask? I'm going to bloody read this out at the beginning of the next one as well. So you're getting this double vision, sorry. So, yes, after that one, my suspicions are, it is true. Ginger is now the championship leader on 236 points. Carlsberg is in second on 229 points. Then we have the Saint still in third on 218 points. Black Star in fourth on 207 points. Then we have Fazzy in fifth on 186 points. He's ahead of Tidders in sixth on 183 points. Then we have Bubblegum in seventh on, oh, hang on, something's gone, 155 points. He's only just ahead of Frank in 8th on 159 points. No, 149 points, so he's 155 points. Then underneath Frank, we've got Waitsy in 9th on 145 points, so it's a showdown for those three in the final race. Then in 10th, we have Ninja on 104 points. He's ahead of Krell in 11th on 92 points. Then we have Steele in 12th on 70 points. He's ahead of Max in 13th on 54 points. Then we have the Plumber in, I don't even remember the Plumber, in 14th. On 24 points, is it? Yeah, and Ninky in 15th on 22. I wonder if the Plumber is Hoyland. The Plumber. Let's have a quick look, shall we?
The Plumber is Hoyland.
No. I thought I could do the nickname thing, but I can't. I can't change the nicknames from here. So, ladies and gentlemen, all to play for in the final round. Carlsberg versus Ginger. Maybe not versus the Saint. He might be too far out of it. But by my calculations, there's 7 points between Ginger and Carlsberg going into the final round. Ginger and the Saint isn't out of it with 218 points. And if Black Star arrives, we know how fast he is on 207 points. There is all to race for. So, and it won't take long. It's going to be this weekend. I'm going to do that final round. If someone shares the replay, I'm going to be on it like a car bonnet. I've got another replay to do for Full Throttle Racing, and then I'll be back on the Academy, because I have honestly not got that many to do. The Plumber is Hoyland. Yeah, I thought so. And Baxter saying, good race by Bubblegum. Frank saying, and the greatest URL commentary. Oh, come on. They've got loads of commentators. Good commentary to everyone else. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbyes. So, yeah, no, there's plenty of good ones in the URL. I am fifth in that list. I'm just not professional. That's the problem. When I watch their replays, they call out their racers. They know what they're talking about. I'm just blagging it and making lots of noises. There's a lot of in my commentary and a lot of So yeah, you can't call it good. You can just call it just about enough. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you for round 10. That's disgusting. Tiru, peace and love. Peace and love.